On December 22nd, 1956, Kolo, the first ever gorilla born in captivity, begins her life at the Columbus Zoo in Ohio. Kolo's parents were Mac and Millie, two western lowland gorillas that were captured in the wild in Cameroon and came to the Columbus Zoo in 1951. Gorillas were often caught using brutal methods. In order to capture a gorilla when it was young and therefore still small enough to handle, hunters frequently killed the young gorilla's parents and other family members. Native to Africa, gorillas are peaceful, intelligent animals who live in small groups led by one adult male, known as a silverback. There are 3 subspecies of gorilla. The western lowland gorilla is critically endangered, with just 150,000 to 200,000 left in the wild. Gorillas are vegetarians whose only natural enemy is the humans who hunt them. They generally live to about age 35 in the wild and age 50 in captivity. Kolo's 1956 birth became an international phenomenon, but it all very nearly became a tragedy instead, if not for the quick thinking of veterinary student Warren Thomas. He was the one that discovered that Millie had given birth, but the baby was left lying on the floor of the enclosure, still in the amniotic sac and not breathing. Thomas worked quickly and was able to resuscitate the infant. The baby was named Kolo, a combination of Columbus and Ohio, through a newspaper contest. At the time, captive gorillas did not learn parenting skills like those living in the wild, so the Columbus Zoo built Kolo a nursery, and she was reared by zookeepers. In the years since Kolo's arrival, zookeepers have developed habitats that simulate a gorilla's natural environment, and many captive-born gorillas are now raised by their mothers. Kolo goes on to live a long and productive life. A few years after her birth, a male gorilla named Bongo was brought to the zoo, and the 2 of them had 3 children together. Bongo died in 1990, but their line has continued. At the time of Kolo's death in 2017, there were 16 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren. Their descendants live at the Columbus Zoo and in other zoos across the world. Kolo celebrated her 60th birthday in 2016, and then died just a few weeks later. But her legacy lives on. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1775, the Continental Congress creates the Continental Navy, naming Essex Hopkins as commander. In 1808, Ludwig van Beethoven's popular and intense Fifth Symphony premieres in Vienna, Austria. In 1864, Union General Sherman captures Savannah, Georgia, one of the Confederacy's last major ports. In 1900, the first ever Mercedes car is delivered to its buyer, an Austrian auto racer named Emil Jelinek. In 1968, Richard Nixon's daughter and Dwight Eisenhower's grandson marry in a private ceremony. In 2001, 3 months after 9/11, a terrorist attempts to detonate shoe bombs on a flight from Paris. In 2010, U.S. President Barack Obama repeals President Bill Clinton's 1994 Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. And now, it's time for our Today in History quiz. Which human organ was the first to be successfully transplanted? The liver, the heart, the kidney, or the lung? Think you know the answer? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Find out if you're right tomorrow on Today in History.